Hi everyone, this is Katie from Linguistico, and welcome to this intermediate writing/vocabulary class. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to replace the word very in your writing. Sometimes when we write, we use words like really or very or so, like very nice or really awesome or so great. But these words don't really add much to our writing. So if you want to make your writing stronger and sound more professional, it's best to eliminate these words from your writing, like very. So we're going to learn strategies today to replace those filler words with stronger words. The first strategy that we're going to learn is learning how to use synonyms that make your writing stronger. So replacing very with another word. So for example, instead of saying very pretty, we could say beautiful. Then we're going to learn a little bit about figurative writing and how to use metaphors and similes to replace the word very. So instead of saying she's very pretty, we could use something like she's as pretty as the Queen of England. So these techniques, using synonyms and using figurative writing, will make your writing a lot stronger. And in class, we're going to practice by writing a story and using the strategies that we learned to replace the word very. All right, so let's get started. Raquel, I see you're in class. Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Raquel, how are you?
Good, thank you.
And Raquel, I think this is the first time that I've had you in class, so could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm from Costa Rica, and well, this is not my first class in Linguistica, but yeah, with you, it's the first time.
Okay, excellent. So you're from Costa Rica, so you're a tica, right?
Yes, I'm a tica. Soy tica.
Excellent. Awesome. Okay, so great, awesome. So like I said, we're going to talk about how to make our writing stronger by taking out words like very. And so when you write, do you use words like this often, like very and really?
Yes, a lot.
A lot. Right, and I do too. And it's something that's even hard sometimes for native speakers because we use them a lot in our writing, and we
Uh-huh.
kind of forget that there are better ways to make our writing stronger. And I see that we have Anatoly in class. So Anatoly, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay. Hi Anatoly, how are you doing?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Um, and Anatoly, today we're going to talk about how to make our writing a little stronger by taking out words like very. So sometimes you might see in writing that people say things like she's very pretty or she's very smart. Um, when you write, do you use the word very a lot?
I think yes.
Yeah, right. Sometimes I do too. And it's not always bad to use the word very, but there are some ways to take this word out to make it stronger. So, for example, instead of saying like very pretty, we could say beautiful. So we're going to learn about some strategies to replace very in these filler words to make our writing stronger. Okay, so first I'm going to show you guys a PowerPoint, and then near the end of class we're going to practice writing a story. And first we're going to write it using all of these filler words like very, and then we're going to edit it and make it stronger. Okay, so I'm going to screen share. Let's see. Okay, so can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's see. Let's see. And
And
Ahmed, can you hear me?
Ahmed joined us. Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you, Anatoly. Right, so since this is full screen, I can't always hear you guys, but Ahmed, can you hear me? See, we'll check in with Ahmed in a couple minutes. Okay. So, so like I mentioned, a lot of times in English, people will use the words very and really. And you can use these before an adjective or an adverb, like very pretty, very fast, very slowly. And they're okay in conversation, but let's take a look and see what it looks like in writing. Okay. So I want you guys, we're going to read this out loud, and I want you guys to give me your opinions on how it sounds. Okay, so Anatoly, can you read the first sentence, please?
Katie is going to Brazil and she is very afraid of taking her flight. She is trying to get over her fear and of flights.
Okay. And then Raquel, can you read the second sentence, please?
Uh-huh. The weather is really hot and I am sweating like a pig.
Very good. And then Ahmed, if you can turn your microphone on, can you read the third sentence, please? Okay, Ahmed might not be able to speak right now, but Anatoly, could you read the last sentence, please?
My friend is really pretty, but sometimes she is very rude, which makes her seem unattractive.
Excellent. All right, so how do these sentences sound to you guys? Do they sound good or okay, or what do you think about them?
Mm.
I didn't think about but what like very before you explained that we don't need to use it often.
Right, it's actually not bad all of the time, and I want to make sure that I mention that because sometimes you can use the word very, and it's perfectly fine because all of these sentences sound okay. But if we have a whole paragraph and we use them repeatedly, like if I said, Katie is going to Brazil and she's very afraid, she's very excited for her trip, but she is, and I use the word very a lot, then it might be better to replace it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some words that we can use to replace like very, really, and right. So for example, why we want to do this sometimes is that because really and very are kind of weak words. So they're okay occasionally, but if you have a paragraph and you use the words very and really a lot, then it doesn't really add much to your writing. So one strategy that we can use is to use a thesaurus. And have any of you used a thesaurus before? Could you explain what it is?
I don't know.
Okay, Raquel, have you ever used a thesaurus? Do you know what it is?
If I use the word weak?
No, my question is if you have ever used something called a thesaurus.
A thesaurus. Like, like what kind?
Okay, I'll explain what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so a thesaurus is like a dictionary, but instead of giving a definition, it gives other words that are similar. So, for example, if I look up the word pretty in a thesaurus, it gives me other words that are similar, like beautiful or gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be one strategy when we're trying to replace these words, is to use a thesaurus to look up other words that might be a better fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I try to use it. Sometimes I don't remember, but I try, to try not to say the same word all the time. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that's one strategy that we can use. So to not say the same word all of the time is to use a thesaurus and to look up different words. So we're going to talk about some strategies today. And the first one is to look for a synonym a synonym is a word that means the same thing. So, for example, beautiful could be a synonym for pretty, but instead of saying very pretty, we could say beautiful, and that's stronger. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about figurative language. Okay. So off of the top of your head, we're going to look at some websites that will give us some good synonyms. But can any of you think of a stronger word that we could use instead of very pretty?
Beautiful, maybe.
Okay, very good. Anatoly, we could say beautiful. Can you think of any other ones?
Amazing.
Okay, amazing. Have you heard of the word gorgeous?
Yes.
So that's something that we can say. What about very hot? Let's see.
Spicy.
Right, good, Anatoly. So if we're talking about food, we could say spicy. And then Ahmed, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. And what about you?
Okay, Ahmed, we're talking about some ways that we can replace very, the word very, in our writing because it's not a very strong word. So right now we're thinking of some other words that we can say for these phrases. So for example, we said that instead of saying very pretty, we could say beautiful or gorgeous. Okay, and then so for very hot, we could say that it's spicy. What about temperature? Can you think of any words that we could use for temperature if it's very hot?
We can use warm.
Right, we could use warm. We could say
Very
that.
warm.
Right, we could say that something is warm. And let me, sorry guys, let me screen share this a different way. Here we go. Okay, so we could say that it's warm. We could also say scorching. Have you heard of this word before?
No.
Scorching.
Scorching.
No.
Okay, so scorching is like something is very hot. What about if something is very cold? What's one word that we could say to replace very cold?
It's very chilly.
Right, so we could say it's chilly. And then
Okay.
And let's see. And then
It's very frozen. Freezing.
Okay, so it's very good, Rekha. We could say that it's freezing.
Freezing.
Oh, and it's Ahmed?
Yeah. Wintry.
Wintry, right? We could say it's wintry out. And one thing, guys, too, if you're not talking, I would suggest that you mute your microphone so that you can't hear any background sounds. Okay, excellent. I think it stopped. And then Fernando, I see that you're in the conversation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so Fernando, how are you doing?
Excellent.
Excellent, great. So today we're talking about some ways that we can take the word very out of our writing and replace it with other words to make it sound stronger. Okay, so we're just going over some of these words and what we could replace them with to make them stronger. Okay, so I like all the examples that you guys gave for very cold. We could say that it's chilly, it's freezing, it's wintry. What about very hungry? Can you think of anything that we could say for this?
Starving.
Okay, very good, Fernando. That was the one that I was thinking of. You can, instead of saying I'm very hungry, you can say I'm starving. Can you think of anything else?
No, I don't figure out any other word right now.
Okay. Some other things that we could say is I am ravenous. This is a kind of an advanced word, ravenous, like you're super hungry. And then for very tired, what's something that we could say for that?
Exhausted.
Okay, very good, Raquel. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. That's the main one that I can think of. And then if you're very afraid, what's another word that you can say for that?
Scared?
Okay, excellent. I'm scared. Can you think of anything else? There's one that starts with a T that I'm thinking of. How about the word, okay, thanks, Anatoly. Have you heard of the word terrified?
No.
No? Okay, so this is a new vocabulary word then. If you're very afraid of something, you are terrified. And I'll give you guys a link over in the chat box of a great website that has some tips for replacing the word very. Oops, there we go. Okay, so if you guys look on this website, it will show you some of the words that you can say instead of very to make your writing stronger. Okay, so for example, let's take a look at our sentences again. In this first sentence, instead of saying very afraid, what's a word that we could use? Fernando, can you think of one word that we could use to substitute very afraid?
It could be frightened.
Okay, excellent. Right, so that's another word that we could use. She's frightened. And then Cesar, I see that you're in a conversation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Cesar, how are you doing today?
Hungry, and you?
You're hungry.
Yes.
I'm hungry too. Today we're learning about some ways to make our writing stronger by using words other than very. Okay, so we're doing some exercises to replace some words with very with stronger words. Okay, so we're going to learn some synonyms, and then we're going to practice with our writing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so like Fernando said, we could say she is terrified, or sorry, she is frightened, or we could say she is terrified. Okay, and then for the second sentence, the weather is really hot. What's one of the words that we talked about that we could use to replace really hot?
Scorching.
Okay, scorching. So we could say the weather is scorching. What's another word that we could use? And then,
Can we say firing?
the weather is fiery. We could say that. It sounds a little different, but we could say that. Scorching would probably be the best one. And then the sentence at the bottom, my friend is really pretty. What's one word that we could use to replace pretty?
Can we say wisdom?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Ahmed?
Can we say wisdom?
Could you write it in the chat box, please?
Wisdom or west?
Let's see, Ahmed, I'll come back to you. Cesar or
Okay.
Fernando or Raquel, can you guys think of any word to replace really pretty?
Beautiful, charming.
Excellent, great, beautiful, charming. And then Ahmed, could you mute your microphone, please?
Hello? Handsome,
Oh.
I mean.
Okay, yeah, just when you're not talking, if you could mute your microphone, that would be great. That way we don't hear any of the background noises. Thank you. And then Raquel, could you think of any other words?
I hear about this word, stunning. Like she's very
Stunning, yeah, that's a great word.
stunning. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a really great word. Because stunning is like really beautiful. When you see someone and you think, wow, they're gorgeous. You could also say gorgeous. And then what's one word that we could say if someone is very rude? If you guys look on the website that I gave you, there's some suggestions. I'll show them to you really fast. What's another word for rude? So instead of saying very rude, we could say, what could we say?
Vulgar.
Vulgar, right? So if someone is very rude, we could say that they are vulgar. Okay. All right. So and then, for example, if I said that, like the house is very roomy. The house is very roomy. What's a better word that we could use?
Very roomy
Mm-hmm.
is what does mean roomy?
Roomy is like something has a lot of space.
Spacious, spacious we can say.
Oh, right. So we could say the house is spacious.
Yeah.
What if we say that something is if I say that she was very angry, what's a better word that we could use instead of very angry? Can you guys find it on the chart?
She is mad.
Right, we could say she is mad
Or sad. Sad.
or sad. Right, we could say mad or sad. There's one word on the chart that Raquel?
Upset.
Upset, right, that would be one word.
Upset. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then can you guys see the one that's on the chart too? We could also say that she is furious. Furious is like someone is very angry. Okay, so to show you guys some examples, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and then we're going to make a chart of some of these words that we can use. And then Raquel, if you can mute your microphone when you're not talking,
Okay.
that would be helpful. Yeah, sorry, I just hear some background noise, kind of like a whistling sound. Thank you. All right, so let me go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. So if we use these rules, it can kind of make our writing sound stronger. So instead of saying she is very afraid, Cesar, can you read the first sentence? Oh, I think Cesar left for a second. Fernando, can you read the first sentence?
Okay, Katie is going to Brazil and she's terrified of taking her flight. She's trying to get over her fear of flights.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think sounds stronger? She is very afraid or she is terrified?
Terrified.
Terrified, right. And that's kind of why we're using these new words to replace very. Because very, like I said, is kind of a weak word. Okay, and then let's see. Cesar, can you read the second sentence?
Yes, the weather is scorching and I am sweating like a pig.
Uh-huh. Okay, so right, so here we have scorching instead of very hot. Okay, so that kind of sounds stronger. And then Ahmed, can you read the last sentence, please?
Okay. My friend is beautiful, but sometimes she is vulgar, which makes her seem unattractive.
Exactly, right. So vulgar is like someone who is very rude. Okay, so you can see that we replaced very pretty with beautiful, and vulgar, we replaced very rude with vulgar. Okay, so we can use these words, and we're replacing two words with one word, but that one word is stronger. Does that make sense? I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, guys, is I'm going to give you a link to a Google document, All right, and let me find the link really fast on my PowerPoint. Okay, so I want you all to go to this link. I'll post it in the chat box. Okay. And so I want you all to go to this link and open it in one of your windows. Okay, and I'll go to it as well. Okay, so can you guys see this link? Okay, everyone's here. All right, so in order to kind of organize ourselves before we start writing, I want you guys to think of some adjectives that you use with very. So for example, one of our words was pretty. Another thing that we said was cold. Like something is very pretty, something is very cold. And then we're going to think of some stronger words that we can use for these. So can any of you guys think of some other adjectives that you use a lot in your writing?
Rather.
Can you say that again, Cesar?
Rather.
Rather, like?
Yes.
Rather. Rather is actually, I'm not sure what part of speech that is, but I don't think it's an adjective. But we can say, that word is fine. We can say, like, rather than something. Like, I would rather go to the store than to the supermarket. Or I would rather swim.
No. The thing is that I've seen, rather in a similar way, like pretty, so rather cold or something like that. Well.
Oh, I see. Right. So that's one thing actually, Cesar, that we could do. So instead of just replacing the word, we could say rather instead of saying very. Okay. So we could say rather cold, or we could say extremely. Okay, so there are kind of two ways to go about this. We can replace the whole word, like instead of saying very cold, we can use a whole nother word, or we can replace the word very to make things a little bit more, to not make it as repetitive. So like you mentioned, Cesar, you can say it's rather cold, which is kind of just a way of saying it's very cold or it's pretty cold. Mm-hmm.
So cold.
Okay, so cold. Excellent. Right, and then so what are some other adjectives that you guys use in your writing a lot too? So we could say that something is pretty, it's cold, it's hot maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
What are some words? Go ahead, Cesar.
It's mouth-watering.
Okay, excellent. So so for example, if we want to say that something is very good, we could say that it's mouth-watering. Okay, so we're going to try to think of some words that we can use. Oops, sorry guys. Instead of very. Okay.
So a word that I use a lot is very nice.
Okay, excellent, Raquel. So very nice. And let's work with that one first. Let me copy and paste this. And you guys can type on this too if you want to. So we'll start with this one. Like Raquel said that she says very nice a lot. And I say that a lot too in conversation. But when we're writing, we probably want to say something a little stronger. So what are some other words that we can say instead of very nice?
Great.
Okay, it's great. Okay, and then so let me see if I can write that in here. So we could say it's great. What are some other things that we could say?
Incredible, amazing.
Okay, very good, Cesar. Incredible, amazing. Anything else?
Breathtaking.
Breathtaking, excellent. Okay, so if something is breathtaking, it's really amazing. I actually don't think that's happening. Breathtaking. Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay, wonderful, excellent, Ahmed. Oops, trying to see how I can you guys think of anything else? Whoops. Okay. And so we have very nice. And then what about very cool? If something is very cool, what are some other things that we can say to describe that?
Awesome.
Okay, it's awesome. Anything else?
Unbelievable.
Okay, excellent. I like that one. It's unbelievable. So I could say, have you guys seen the new iPhone? It's unbelievable. Okay. And you guys can type these in too if you'd like, or you can. Raquel?
Very great.
Okay, so we could say great instead of saying very cool. It's great. Anything else?
Astonishing.
Oh, very good, Cesar. That's a great word, astonishing. So if something is astonishing, it's like amazing. Like it surprises you with how cool it is. So Cesar, what is something that you find astonishing?
Someone doing an extreme sport, probably.
Okay. So someone is doing something like an extreme sport. It's astonishing because it's very, very cool. Can anyone else think of something that would be astonishing or unbelievable or awesome?
My brother doing his homework is unbelievable because he doesn't do his homework very often.
Okay, all right. So my brother doing his homework is unbelievable, right? And so unbelievable kind of has two different meanings. So if something is very cool, it can be unbelievable, like it's so good that you can't believe it, or just something that you can't believe. Okay, so Cesar, your brother doing your homework is his homework is unbelievable. Okay, excellent. Let's see. So we have awesome. I'm trying to think of a way to highlight this if I can. Oh, whoops, sorry guys. Okay, so for very nice, we have it's breathtaking, it's great, it's wonderful, it's amazing. For very cool, we can say it's great, it's unbelievable, it's awesome, astonishing. And very good kind of mean the same thing as well. What are some other words that you guys use a lot in your writing or your conversation other than very nice or very cool?
Incredible.
Okay, right. So that's one word that we can use instead of like very nice. We can say that something is incredible. Can you guys think of anything else?
Extraordinary.
Okay, excellent. Extraordinary. Something is extraordinary. It's really amazing. And then what about for some other words? If we say something is, let's see. For example, if something is very small, what are some other things that we could say instead of very small?
Tiny.
Tiny, excellent, Fernando. Okay, so we could say it's tiny. So that sounds a lot stronger instead of saying something like, I live in a very small house. You could write, I live in a tiny house. Can you think of any other words that we could say? Okay, little, excellent. So a little house. Then we could also use the word cozy. Have you heard of this word before?
Isn't that like comfortable?
Yeah, it can be like comfortable, something that's small and comfortable. So sometimes if someone has something that's very small, but they don't want to say that, they say that it's cozy. So instead of saying, oh, I have a very small house or I have a tiny house, they'll try to be positive and they'll say, oh, my house is cozy. You know, it's small, but it's comfortable.
What's about micro?
Sorry, what was that, Ahmed?
Micro.
Micro? Micro is something that's very small, but we usually don't use it by itself. It's usually attached to other words. So for example, like a microscope is something that shows you images of things that are very small. If something is microscopic, it's very small. So sometimes you'll see words with micro at the beginning of them, and it means that they are very small. But it's not usually something that we use as a word by itself.
Pony.
Sorry, what was that, Ahmed?
Pony.
Could you write it in the...
P-U-N-Y. Pony.
Oh, puny.
Puny.
This word?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Right, that's kind of a word that has like a kind of a negative connotation. So that would be if something is like little or weak. If something is or very small, it's puny. So sometimes people use this with people. So if someone is very small and they're not very strong, we can say that they're puny. Okay, excellent.
How about miniature?
Okay, we could say that, miniature. Okay, miniature. Anything else that you guys can think of?
Minuscule? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Minuscule. Minuscule.
Right, minuscule. Minuscule is kind of like something is very, very tiny. Like almost so tiny that it's not important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
Small scale?
Right, small scale, that would be something else that we could say. Can you guys think of any other words that you use with very that you would want to replace? Other than like very pretty, very cold, very cool, very nice, which we found a lot of synonyms for.
Are you talking about the adjectives?
Yeah, if you can think of any adjective that you would want to replace. So like if you say very with an adjective, if there's a specific word that you would like to replace.
Very far.
Okay, very far. Anything else?
Freezing and very cold.
Okay, yeah, we could say that. So if we want to say that something is very cold, it's freezing. Anything else? I think for very far, it might be kind of hard to try to think of a word for that. It's very far. It's
distant.
Distant. Yeah, very good, Cesar. Right, so it's distant.
Very sweet.
Okay, very sweet. Okay, so if something is very sweet. I'm trying to think if there's something that we could say to replace very sweet. Can you guys think of anything? The only thing that I could think of is if something is very sweet, we could say that it is sickeningly sweet. Like something is so sweet that you almost get sick of it. Like Okay, so I think we're pretty good with those synonyms. Are there any ones that you guys want to address before we start our writing? Okay, if something is very far, it's very long we could use, but it kind of depends on the context. It's probably distant would be the best word to use. If something is, because long is kind of more of a measurement of something. Cesar, let's see, you said for something that is hot. Okay, excellent. Boiling, if something is really hot, it's boiling or blazing. Excellent. Right. Are there any other ones that you guys can think of before we move on to our writing? I think you guys came up with a lot of really good synonyms.
That's okay.
Okay, is everyone ready to move on?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Raquel is ready. I think Ahmed is ready. Everyone else is ready. Fernando, are you ready?
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, excellent. All right, so now I want you guys to go to this Google Doc, and what we're going to do is we're going to write a short story, and we're going to replace very with some of the words that we learned. Okay, so so we have our synonyms up, and we can also go to that other website that I told you guys about. All right, so about our story, we probably want to figure out a couple things before we write it. Okay, so first, oops, sorry guys. So first we should probably figure out the setting. Okay, so where do we want this story to take place? You probably want to know the setting, the people, problem.
The setting could be at any place.
Yeah, we can be as creative as we want with this.
Okay, how about Narnia?
Okay. All right, and Cesar, could you explain to everyone what is Narnia?
Yes, it's the place. Well, there's a movie about this. I don't know what's the name of the movie. Yes, about the three boys or four boys, four brothers, siblings who go to a place, but to enter to this magic place, the entrance is a wardrobe, and then they get to Narnia through the wardrobe, and then they find. Well, it says, how do you say this, fantasy, science fiction movie, and there's a book also, I think.
Right, it's like science fiction or fantasy is the type of book that is. I think that the movie is called Chronicles of Narnia. Have any of you seen this movie?
Yes. That's it.
Fernando, have you seen this movie?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so right, so this is kind of like a magical fairyland. Okay, and then the people in our story, who could be the people? And you guys can be as creative or as silly as you want to be.
Excuse me?
So we're just kind of writing a story, so that way we can use some of these synonyms that we learned for very. So we're just making up a story, and we can make this any way that we want. But before we start writing, we want to know the setting, the people, and the problem in the story. So who are some people that we think should be in our story? Should Justin Bieber be in our story?
No, please, no, Justin Bieber. Pick anyone else.
No, pick anyone else. Raquel, what do you think?
Except he's going to die in that movie. Well, in that history, just left it right there.
Okay, well, maybe we can keep Justin Bieber. Maybe he'll die. I don't know. Raquel, what do you think? Who should we have in our story?
It can be any person.
Mm-hmm.
apologize. I don't know. Ellen DeGeneres?
Ellen?
Ellen,
Okay, excellent. So we have Justin Bieber and Ellen.
Very funny, yeah.
Okay, yes, I love Ellen too. Okay, so we have Justin Bieber and Ellen. And what should happen in this story? So they're in Narnia. And what's their problem in Narnia?
There was a shortage of water.
Okay, so there was a shortage of water. And what happened?
Nobody could take a shower.
Okay, so there's a shortage of water and no one can take a shower. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a sentence with the word very or really or so, and I want you guys to help me to try to think of a stronger word to put in its place. Okay, so we looked at a lot of synonyms on the other Google Doc. Okay, so we can use some of these words in our story. Okay, so I could say, start the story off and say, it was a very nice day. What could we say instead of very nice? And anyone who feels free, you guys can write in.
Incredible.
Okay, so Ahmed, do you want to write in incredible on the Google Doc? Okay, so it was an incredible day. Okay, and let's see, Fernando, could you write a sentence with very and then have someone replace it with another stronger word? So you can write the next sentence.
Any kind of sentence following the story.
Right, exactly. So you can be as silly or as creative as you want. But try to pick a word with very and then see what your group members can come up with to replace it with a stronger word.
Okay, so I will try to do my best. Something funny right now.
Okay. Okay, so like we said, we're in Narnia. It was an incredible day. Okay, so instead of saying like it was a very good day, right? So it was an incredible day when Justin Bieber suddenly appeared, persecuted by a very hungry wolf. Okay. All right. So as we noticed, Fernando wrote very hungry. Right. So can anyone think of something that we could use to replace that to make it stronger? Any ideas? And let me see if I can find a website for you guys. Oops. And let me give you guys a link.
Streaming?
So if you go starving, okay, that would be a good one. And if you guys want to go to the link that's in the chat box that says thesaurus, you can search for a word, like if we wanted to say hungry, and we can look for some words that might be a little bit stronger. Ravenous would be one, or starved, or which one did you say, Ahmed? Starving? Okay, excellent. Okay, so when Justin Bieber, it was an incredible day when Justin Bieber suddenly appeared persecuted by a starving wolf. Okay. Who wants to write the next sentence of the story? Cesar, maybe? Okay, and then Ahmed, if you could mute your microphone when you're not speaking.
Sorry.
That's okay, thank you. Okay, so it was an incredible day when Justin Bieber suddenly appeared persecuted by a starving wolf. Justin was very scared. Okay, excellent. And then so what are some things that we could say, or actually guys, what do you think would be better? Should we write the whole story first and then go back and change very, or should we go sentence by sentence and change? Which do you think is the best option?
To write the whole story first.
Okay, right. I think that might be better too. Okay, so we can write the whole story first, and then we'll go back and replace the words with stronger words. Okay, so it was an incredible day when Justin Bieber suddenly appeared persecuted by a starving or very hungry wolf. Justin was very scared. Okay, then what happens? Any ideas? Okay, fortunately, okay, excellent. Okay, so fortunately, his sister Ellen was a very skilled hunter, so she saved him. Okay. What else could happen? Ellen was a very skilled hunter, so she saved him. I know sometimes it can be hard to think of ideas, but you can make the story about anything that you would like. Okay, excellent. So she saved him because she is very protective. Okay, and then anything else? How does Justin view? Okay, let's see. After being oh goodness, this is gory. After being covered with blood of the dead wolf. Okay, excellent. Okay, so Justin and Ellen went very fast to get rid of his very dirty clothes. Okay, can anyone else think of a couple more sentences? We'll do a couple more sentences and then probably wrap the story up and end it. Okay, Right, excellent, because that's what our story was about, right? That there was no water. Okay, so Justin needed to go home to change his clothes, and there was no water to take a shower. Okay. Right, so, in conclusion, okay, so in conclusion, no one could take a shower. Very good. We could say, and so no one could take a shower, and they were very, and then how did they feel? Maybe they were very mad, they were very sad, they were okay, very good, and they were very dirty. Okay, so we can stop that about right here. Okay, so let's go back and look at our story. Okay, so we already did the first couple of sentences replacing very. Okay, but we have Justin was very scared, very skilled, okay, very protective, very fast, okay, so in the first sentence that we have, Justin was very scared. What are some words that you guys can think to replace that? If you guys can't think of any words, remember that you can look on this website and see if there are any, or you can go to the thesaurus and type in the word and see if there's a stronger word that you can use instead of saying very and the other word. Okay, so anyone, what's one thing that we could say here instead of very scared?
Petrified.
Okay, excellent. So okay, so he was petrified. Have you guys heard of this word before, petrified? Right, so petrified is an excellent word, and this just means that someone is very scared. Okay, the next one, fortunately his sister was very skilled. Very skilled actually sounds okay in this sentence, but is there something else that we could say?
Can we say expert?
Uh-huh, right, we could.
Well, experience, I think. Does it exist?
Okay, very good, Cesar. So we can say that she was an experienced hunter. Okay, and that's one word that we could say to replace very. Okay. And then in the next sentence, what could we say? Because she's very protective.
Very careful, or just careful.
Okay, so we could say because she is careful, or we could even say because she's protective. That word's probably strong enough without very. So because she's careful, because she's protective. And remember, too, that we can say some other words for very. So we could say rather or extremely. So we could also say because she is extremely protective. Okay. And then what about this one? Justin and Ellen went very fast.
Well, I missed the word home there because they went home very fast.
Oh, okay. So they went home very fast. And what's one thing that we could say instead of very fast?
as fast as they could.
Okay, excellent. Right, so that's another thing that we can use that we didn't really have time to talk about, but you can compare it to something else. So what was that you said,
Rapidly. Is that okay?
We could say rapidly, or what was the other one that you said, as fast as lightning? So we could use either of those. Oops, this should be rapidly. Okay. And then what about the next one? Justin was very angry.
He was crossed. No,
we could say he was cross. Can you guys think of any other ones? Fernando?
Upset.
Okay, so he was upset. Raquel, can you think of any other words that we could use?
Justin was very angry.
Okay, so he was angry. Can you think of a different word for angry instead of saying very angry? He was...
He was very not very good looking.
Okay, right. So we could say, like, that's one thing that we could say. He was. Let me find it really fast. He was upset, or we could also say he was mad, or angry, or agitated. Okay, so those are all different words that we can use. And hi, Ricardo, we're almost out of time, but we're just using some synonyms to take out the word very from our writing to make it stronger. Okay?
All right, I got it, but I don't really get it. What do we have to do here in this activity?
We're taking out the word very. Okay, so we have some words right, very, and so we're trying to replace them with stronger words.
Oh, okay. I got it now.
All right, so the next one, Justin was, so we said Justin was upset and very smelly. What's
Stinky.
Something that we could... Okay, so he was stinky. That would be something we could say.
What about...
So he was... Go ahead. Or as you guys can see here too, there are some other ones that we could say. We could say he was foul-smelling. He was rancid. Okay. And then the last one, no one could take a shower and they were very dirty. What could we say there?
Filthy.
Filthy, very good, excellent. That was the word that I was thinking of too. So filthy is very dirty. Okay, so we're almost out of time, but let's read through our story and see what it sounds like now that we replace those words with very. Okay, so Ahmed, do you want to read the first sentence? Let's see, we'll go back to Ahmed. Let's see, Cesar, can you read the first sentence, please?
Yes, it was, okay, who? Me or Ahmed?
Hello? Me?
Oh, hi, Ahmed. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Ahmed, can you read the first sentence of the story?
Okay, it was an incredible day when Justin Bieber suddenly appeared, persecuted by a staffing wolf.
Excellent, right. So you guys see how much stronger that sounds then. It was a very nice day when Justin Bieber appeared persecuted by a very hungry wolf. Okay, so this sounds a lot stronger. All right. Cesar?
Okay, so Justin was petrified. Fortunately, his sister... Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Fortunately, his sister Ellen was an experienced hunter, so she saved him.
Right, so can you guys see how that sounds stronger than, for example, Justin was very afraid. Fortunately, his sister was very skilled, so she saved him. Okay, so the second one sounds a little stronger. Okay. And then, let's see, Fernando?
Yes?
Could you read the next sentence of our story, please?
Pardon?
Could you read the next sentence of our story where it says, because she is...
Okay. So, because she's careful, after being covered with blood of the dead wolf, Justin and Ellen went home rapidly, as fast as lightning, to get rid of his very dirty clothes.
Oh, and we skipped this one, right? We could say disgusting or
Messy.
filthy. Messy, there we go, messy. Excellent. Okay, and you can say either or. So we could say, like, they went home as fast as lightning to get rid of his messy clothes. Okay, and then Ricardo, can you read the next sentence?
Okay, sure. When they got home, they found out there was no water. Justin
Right,
was
so they...
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Ricardo.
Okay, Justin was upset and stinky, right? At the same time.
Oh, right. So these were some of the adjectives that we used to replace very, and then another adjective. Okay, and then let's see. Cesar, can you read the last sentence? Let's see. Or Fernando, can you read the last sentence? Or Ricardo,
Okay.
can you read the last sentence?
Sure. So, in conclusion, no one could take a shower, and they were filthy.
Exactly. All right. So these are just some examples of words that we can use. And Ricardo, can you mute your microphone for a second?
Can I do what?
Mute your microphone. There should be a button at the top of the screen to make the microphone silent. Oh, there we go. Right, just so when you're not talking, that way that people can't hear the background noise. Okay, so we're out of time for today, guys, but I hope that that class kind of helped you learn how to use other words in your writing other than very, so that way you can make your writing sound stronger. Okay, so so just to wrap up, what were some things that we said that we can say instead of very nice? Like, oh, this is a very nice house or a very nice car. What were some things that we could say?
Amazing, incredible, extraordinary.
Excellent, Cesar. So amazing, incredible, extraordinary. And what's one of the tools that you guys can use if you're trying to think of another word that's stronger? What's it called, that the book that you go to or the website?
Reading, I think, right?
Right, but it's also called a thesaurus. Do you remember that?
No, I arrived late.
Okay, right. So if you're ever trying to think of a stronger word to use, you can go to the thesaurus, and it will show you different words that you can use that might be stronger and a better fit. Okay, so we're out of time for today, guys, but I hope that lesson was helpful. You can go to your dashboard, and leave me feedback talking about what you liked about the lesson and what you didn't. Okay, I will be moving to Brazil on Sunday, so I won't have classes next week, but I should have classes the week after then. Okay?
Okay, so we will wait for you.
Thank you, Cesar. All right, and thank you all for coming to class and participating.
Okay, thanks to you as well, and have a good trip moving to Brazil.
Thank you, Fernando. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
All right,
Goodbye.
bye.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.